Revealed. Black CEO's daughter cleaned undercover. Her life-changing call transformed everything. Maya stepped into the senior living center, her hands trembling slightly. Everyone back home, her friends, her father, even her mother, thought she was crazy. Who willingly goes from a life of luxury in a high-rise to scrubbing floors and making beds? I need to understand, she told herself. A need born from the occasional whispers of doubt that echoed in her mind like a honking city taxi. As she got to work, she met Mr. Jenkins, a retired factory worker with laugh lines etched deep into his face. "You're cleaning up today, but you'll change the world tomorrow." His voice was warm, a stark contrast to the cold marble floors beneath her. Every time she heard him talk about the struggles he faced, the burdens of life melted into her heart. Then there was Ms. Wilson, who spoke softly about her 3 children, telling stories of heartbreak and triumph over lemon tea. One afternoon, while dusting a shelf, Ms. Wilson leaned in close, whispering, "Maya, life ain't tea about the money. It's about the love you give." The words settled deep within Maya, pulling her into a world she had never fully experienced. With each passing day, she found herself immersed in tales that hinted at the raw edges of resilience. The laugh of Mr. Jenkins when he recounted a factory explosion, the fierce glint in Ms. Wilson's eye when she remembered standing firm in the face of poverty. Maya scrubbed floors but felt the grit and sweat of these stories seep into her soul. Could anyone in her affluent circle ever truly understand this life? But just as she began to feel that belonging, the phone call came. It was her father, his voice matter of fact. "We're investing in a lucrative venture, Maya. It's big. You'll see. Big." The thought made her stomach twist. Investment for wealth while the opportunity for a better community lay in shambles? The weight of her privilege felt oppressive, pressing against her chest. She had a choice to make. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. That Saturday, her father visited the center, the air thick with unspoken emotions. "Maya, you need to understand, money brings opportunity," he said, his tone dismissive, a chasm growing between father and daughter. But the residents rallied around her, lending her their strength as she countered. "But what about the opportunity for real change? For real people?" Powerful words, yet they hung in the air like a harsh wind. Tension pulsed. Maya felt her heart pounding. This was more than a discussion. It was a confrontation of ideologies, her perfect upbringing royally at odds with everything she now embraced. This summer job was about more than cleaning. It was about witnessing the strength rising from struggle, about discovering humanity in its rawest forms. As Mr. Jenkins clutched her hand, offering silent support, and Ms. Wilson's eyes glistened with tears of encouragement, Maya realized her heart was no longer in the high rise. It beat for the community, for its heroes, the seniors, and perhaps against the tide of her father's ambitions. At this moment, Maya stood at a crossroads, poised to decide if she would fight for change or fall back into the shadow of privilege. Would she be brave enough to stand for them? The question hung heavy in the air, unanswered. Maya sat on a bench outside the senior living center, feeling the sun warm her cheeks. She watched the leaves dance in the breeze, but her mind was a whirlwind. The conversation with her father replayed in her head. Money brings opportunity. Yet here she was, in the heart of a community that thrived on connection and resilience, not cash. Mr. Jenkins approached her, the sound of his worn shoes scuffing against the pavement bringing her back to reality. "You all right, kiddo?" he asked, genuine concern etched on his face. "I don't know, Mr. Jenkins. It feels like I'm being pulled in 2 different directions." She took a deep breath, frustration bubbling beneath her calm demeanor. "My dad thinks money can fix everything. But what if the real money is in the love and support we give each other?" Mr. Jenkins leaned against the railing, his eyes sparkling with wisdom. "You're learning, Maya. Change doesn't always come dressed in dollars. Sometimes it wears the face of compassion." Feeling hopeful but uncertain, she nodded. "I just need to figure out what I can do for this community. I've seen so much strength here. They deserve better." Later that week, She organized a small gathering in the center's garden. It was a simple idea tea and storytelling. She invited her new friends, Mr. Jenkins, Ms. Wilson, and others she had come to adore. As she set up the patio tables and hung colorful decorations, excitement bubbled in her chest. Maybe this could be the start of something bigger. The event was heartwarming. Residents smiled as they shared their stories, and laughter washed over the garden like sunshine. Ms. Wilson recounted adventures of her youth, her words weaving memories that brought smiles and sometimes tears. As each tale unfolded, Maya felt something shift within her. Did you ever think about what it takes to bring us all together? Maya asked them, her heart racing a little. Could we turn this place into a community hub? What do you mean? Mr. Jenkins leaned in, intrigued. I mean, we could organize events, classes, workshops, maybe even fundraisers to help local families. This is a space filled with wisdom and experience. Why not share it? The eyes surrounding her sparkled with inspiration. Yes, Ms. Wilson exclaimed. We could help others find their strength too. Just as enthusiasm soared, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Glancing down, she saw her father's name light up the screen. Panic coursed through her veins. Did he sense the change in her? Would he dismiss her ideas as foolish? Sorry, I have to take this, she said quickly, stepping away from the joyful chatter. Maya, I just wanted to touch base before the investment pitch meeting next week. It's a big deal, her father's voice echoed through the phone. Dad, I'm doing something important right now, Maya hesitated, grappling with her words. I want to talk about the community center. I think we can make a bigger difference here. Focus on the future, Maya. The future is what matters. You don't understand yet, but this venture will open doors for you, he replied, his tone firm. As she hung up, doubt swirled within her. She returned to the garden, feeling a weight settle on her shoulders. Would she stand her ground against the life her father envisioned for her? In the distance, laughter erupted, pulling her back. Her heart, once heavy, started to lighten as the warmth of her friends enveloped her. There was vitality in their stories, vibrancy she craved. The real fight was just beginning. Are you with us? She asked, standing tall before them, her voice steady. And as they answered with encouraging cheers, a vision flickered to life in her mind. A new chapter awaited her. Could she bridge the gap between her father's world of investment and the sowing of community love right here in this garden? Maya felt the tide shifting. The question buzzed between them like the hum of bees. What really defines success? The answer lay ahead, and she was determined to chase it, no matter the cost. As the warm laughter of the garden party enveloped Maya, she felt a flicker of courage mingle with her lingering doubts. Could this really lead to something meaningful? As her friends animatedly chatted and shared stories, she found herself marveling at their resilience and humor. Here they were, sharing snippets of life, each thread connecting them tighter. Can we call it Wisdom Wednesdays? Mr. Jenkins suggested, his eyes bright with excitement. Or Tales from the Heart, added Ms. Wilson, full of enthusiasm. Ideas bounced around, a whirlwind of creativity igniting the air. For the first time, Maya sensed that this wasn't just about change. It was about a new way of looking at her world. She smiled and clapped her hands together, bringing them all into focus. Let's brainstorm who we can partner with too. Schools, local businesses, we can reach out and make this about the whole community. The consensus was palpable. They spent the next hour diving deep into plans, sketching out a rough calendar filled with classes and events. Adult education, crafts, health workshops. They discussed everything under the sun. Each new idea rewarded with approving nods and exclamations. However, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the garden, a familiar unease crept into her mind. What would her father think? Would he dismiss her ideas as naive? The tightness in her chest pulled at her. She had already seen how fiercely he clung to his vision of success, a vision entrenched in numbers and corporate ladders. With that thought, the excitement dimmed slightly for Maya, but she quickly pushed it aside. This was hers. This was real and it felt right. They were creating something that mattered. As they wrapped up for the evening, Maya was touched by the gratitude and enthusiasm radiating from everyone. I can't believe we're doing this, she mused aloud, her voice thick with emotion. You all have no idea how much this means to me. Suddenly, a soft voice spoke behind her. You mean a lot to us too, Maya. You've seen us, really seen us. It was Mrs. Davis, A quiet but vibrant woman with sparkling eyes. And that essay gift. Maya felt the heat rise in her cheeks. She hadn't expected this. Her heart swelled. Their appreciation felt heavier than any pressure from home. Maybe, just maybe, this path would be the bridge between her love for them and her father's insistence on financial success. "Thank you, Mrs. Davis. I'm just getting started," she announced, determination creeping back in. But later that night, as she lay awake, her father's voice echoed in her mind. Focus on the future. What if her future depended not on what he envisioned, but what she could create herself? After a sleepless night tangled in thoughts, a new resolve solidified in her mind. She would face her father head-on. She had to share her vision for the center, even if it meant pushing against his long-held beliefs. The next morning she called her dad. "Can we talk? I want to show you what I've been working on," she said, her voice steady, yet slightly trembling. "Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts," he replied, a mix of curiosity and obligation in his tone. Maya took a deep breath, feeling a wave of determination wash over her. But deep down she wondered, would she be able to convince him that love and connection could create a different kind of wealth? And with that question lingering in her mind, she stepped into a battle that might change everything. Maya stared at her phone, the weight of the moment pressing down like a stone in her chest. She felt like a tightrope walker poised over a deep abyss. The street outside her window buzzed with life, children laughing, cars honking. But here she was, frozen in place, battling her fears. What if this call did nothing? What if it only widened the chasm between her and her father? Taking another shaky breath, she finally dialed his number. The ringing seemed to stretch into eternity until she heard his voice on the other end, warm and inviting. "Hey Maya. What's up?" "Dad, I've been working on something," she began, the words tumbling out before she could second-guess herself. "It's a community center project. We're calling it Connections. It's about sharing skills and stories with each other." There was a pause on the line. Her heart raced, thrumming like a drum. Did he even understand what this meant to her? "That sounds interesting," he replied slowly. "But how does that tie into your career plans?" "It's a noble idea, but what's the end goal?" Maya felt the deflation, as if air had been released from her balloon. She launched into her ideas with all the enthusiasm she could muster, sharing the excitement from her friends that had fueled her passion. "It's not about the end goal, Dad. It's about building something meaningful, creating a space where people feel valuable. These connections matter." Another pause, this one more heavy than the last. She could almost hear the gears turning in his mind. "I understand that it feels important to you. But I worry about your future. Networking with businesses, getting internships, that's what builds a career. But what if I build something different?" Maya pressed, her voice sharper now, echoing her conviction. "What if I can help others and create a community that values relationships over profit? Can't we reshape what success looks like?" He sighed deeply, and she braced herself for the lesson she had heard countless times before. "Maya, you know the world runs on systems. Relationships are great, but they can't put food on your table, and they won't help you climb the corporate ladder." Frustration bubbled inside her. "Maybe that's where you're wrong. What if I don't want to climb that ladder? What if I want to build my own?" Silence weighed between them, thick and suffocating. She could feel the disappointment radiating from him. Disappointment that she wasn't following the established path he believed was best. And yet, deep down, she felt a flicker of hope. "I see what you're saying and I respect your passion, Maya. But I just want what's best for you, what I think is best. Maybe I need you to trust me. This might not be the path you envisioned for me, but it's mine." The air buzzed with unsaid words. Their hearts beat rhythmically, each pulse punctuated by the distance that had grown between them. Maya felt tears prick the back of her eyes. "Do you think you could come by the center when it opens? Just to see what we've built?" He hesitated, and she felt another pulse of vulnerability. "I'll think about it," he replied finally. "Will you keep an open mind?" She dared to ask, desperate for a sign. "Can try, Maya." The call ended, leaving her heart racing and legs shaky. She had fought the battle and for the first time, felt like she had asserted her beliefs. Yet in the aftermath, anxiety tangled with hope. Had anything truly shifted? As she sat staring at her phone, a message flashed across her screen. It was Mrs. Davis. "Excited for the first meeting next week. Let us keep the momentum going. Maya smiled despite her swirling emotions, feeling the weight of approval from her community fill her up. But her father's skepticism still clung to her. It wouldn't fade easily. Maybe this was only the beginning. Could she truly forge ahead and challenge her father's expectations? She turned her gaze toward the window, watching a couple of kids playing on the street, their laughter a reminder of the joy that could come from connection. But as doubts nagged again, she whispered to herself, I have to make him understand. With renewed determination, she opened her notebook, pen in hand, ready to outline her vision once more. But just then her phone buzzed again. A message, this time from Mr. Jenkins. I have an idea that could blow this whole thing up. Can we talk ASAP? Maya's heart raced. What was this new idea? Could it change everything? She set her pen down, ready to dive deeper into unknown waters, unsure of what lay ahead. Maya stared at her phone, her mind racing. Mr. Jenkins had never been one to throw around bold claims without substantial backing. She felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. What kind of idea could he have? Would it tie into her vision for connections, or would it pull her in a new direction entirely? Pushing aside her initial doubts, she quickly typed a reply. Yes. When can we meet? The dots danced on the screen, a sign he was typing back almost instantly. How about right now? I'm at the cafe around the corner. The prospect of change propelled her off the chair. Maya grabbed her jacket and was out the door, eager to grasp whatever Mr. Jenkins had in store. The air outside was fresh, a crisp contrast to her lingering anxiety. As she walked, she reminded herself that she wouldn't let her father's disappointment cloud her optimism. Arriving at the cafe, she spotted Mr. Jenkins sitting at a small table in the corner, his expression animated as he sipped his coffee. He greeted her with a smile, beckoning her to sit down. I can't wait to tell you about this. He leaned forward, a spark in his eyes. Okay, spill. What's your big idea? She asked, trying to match his enthusiasm. He took a breath, gathering his thoughts, then launched into it. You know how we were discussing the center and how to attract people? Well, I was thinking about an outreach program that connects our community with local businesses and resources. It could really amplify our impact. Maya's heart raced with possibility, like workshops or mentorships. She chewed on her lip, envisioning the ways they could intertwine the community center's mission with local enterprises. Exactly, he enthused. We could create partnerships that not only generate interest but really help people grow. From job training to resume building, we could bridge gaps that exist between aspiring students and actual careers. The vision blossomed in her mind. This wasn't just a project, it was a movement that could change lives. That sounds incredible. But how do we even start? From what you've told me about your vision, we could host a launch event to showcase potential programs. Invite everyone, locally, business owners, educators, families. Build momentum right from the start. His voice brimmed with excitement, and Maya felt the energy radiating from him. Her doubts started to fade. Yes, this was the direction she wanted to take. If she could show her dad the tangible results of her efforts, maybe then he'd understand. What do you think about collaborating with local schools and colleges to gather their support? Maya suggested, encouraged by the rush of ideas flooding her mind. That's perfect. We need all hands on deck to kick this off. He scribbled notes rapidly, and Maya felt her pulse picking up pace. This was the chance she had been longing for as they delved deeper into planning. A fire ignited within her. She typed ideas into her phone non-stop, sensing this was shaping up to be a launchpad for everything she envisioned. Felt right. She was building connections, weaving threads of opportunity in her community. But as they wrapped up, the unease sat heavy, tugging at her heart again. Would this be enough to validate her choices to her father? Would it shift his perspective? Mr. Jenkins, she said tentatively, do you think if I showcase this to my dad it would matter to him? Do you think he'd see it? He paused, looking directly into her eyes. Maya, it's not just about your dad, it's for everyone involved. You're creating something powerful. When they see the change you're inspiring, he will have no choice but to acknowledge it. She nodded, her mind swirling with his words. What if she could truly show him? What if this project could not only be a cornerstone of her life but also mend the rift between them? Just then, a notification chimed on her screen. It was from Mrs. Davis again. I have a big idea for the launch event too. Can't wait to share. Maya's heart leaped. Could this be just the kickoff they needed? As she read the message, a familiar wave of determination washed over her. She was on the brink of creating something meaningful, beyond just a community center. This was a chance for her to shape her destiny. But somewhere deep inside, doubt crept in again. What if the new heights terrified her dad? She took a deep breath, willing herself to believe. This was a leap of faith, and it felt like the biggest one yet. What lay ahead? Could this be the breakthrough moment that shifted everything in her life, including her father's perception? Maya sat back in her chair, swirling her coffee as a mix of excitement and trepidation coursed through her. The possibilities of their plans filled her mind, igniting every corner of her imagination. But just as quickly, those old doubts entwined themselves around her heart again. What if this all fell apart? What if she failed to impress her father? Mr. Jenkins leaned back, clearly energized, jotting down more ideas. He was in his element. We can even include scholarships for participants who excel. Imagine a networking event where they can meet potential employers right in the community. Her eyes sparkled at the thought. Yes, we could invite people like local business leaders, entrepreneurs, maybe even some success stories from the community who started small. He grinned, clearly thrilled by every suggestion. That's it. The more stories we collect, the bigger our impact. We want to show everyone what's possible when we work together. Maya's fingers danced over her phone screen as she began writing down their brainstormed ideas. Her heart raced with every new thought. This wasn't just an outreach program. It was a beacon of hope, a lifeline for those who felt left out or unsupported. As the cafe buzzed around them, she could see their ideas manifesting into something tangible, something real. Each sip of coffee reminded her of the journey ahead. But in the back of her mind lurked the old fear she couldn't shake off. What if this doesn't work out, Mr. Jenkins? What if I build this up only to see it collapse? He met her gaze, his expression earnest. Maya, every great idea comes with risk. But your passion, your commitment, it's infectious. That's what will drive this forward. People will rally behind you. You just have to believe in yourself. His confidence wrapped around her like a warm blanket. With every shared dream, she felt that faint spark of self-belief glowing slightly brighter. Just then, her phone buzzed again. It was Mrs. Davis. I have names of a few local businesses that might want to partner. Can we chat later? A wave of excitement rushed over her. This is happening, she whispered, and Mr. Jenkins smiled broadly, sensing her shifting mindset. Let us think about dates for our launch event, he said. The sooner we set it in motion, the more momentum we'll create. As they quickly hammered out a rough timeline, Maya felt starved for clarity, hungry for the next steps. But suddenly she froze. The realization jolted through her. She'd need to invite her father. How would he react? What if he dismissed it again as nothing more than a pipe dream? Mr. Jenkins, she said, biting her lip, what if I bring my dad to the launch? I want him to see what I'm doing. But I don't know how he'd take it. The corners of Mr. Jenkins' mouth turned downward slightly. It's understandable to be scared. You want his approval, most of us do. But remember, this isn't just about him. You're showcasing your talent, your passion, you're creating a pathway for others. She pondered his words, feeling a swell of courage rising within her. If this could be bigger than herself, then perhaps it was worth the risk of facing her dad. They continued their planning. Yet Maya's mind wandered as she envisioned her father sitting amongst the crowd. What would she say when she saw him? Would he even come? The idea was both thrilling and terrifying as they wrapped up. Mr. Jenkins leaned forward with a twinkle in his eye. Let us meet again tomorrow to finalize details. We'll make this launch unforgettable. Maya nodded, overwhelmed by the whirlwind of plans. As they parted ways, she felt buoyant, but that familiar pressure returned. What if showing her dad this new side of herself made their relationship even more strained? The thought swirled in her mind as she walked home. Yet amidst the chaos, a question lingered. Could this new venture be the key to bridging that gap? Could it be what finally brought them closer? Maya's heart raced with the realization that she was stepping into uncharted territory. Change awaited, but at what cost? Would it lead to the breakthrough she yearned for, or deepen the divide? The uncertainty hung in the air as she stepped inside, the door closing with a soft click behind her. She held her breath, ready to confront both her dreams and her fears, but what would happen if the unexpected awaited her just around the corner? Maya took a deep breath as she stepped into the familiar warmth of her home. The faint scent of garlic and herbs wafted from the kitchen, reminding her of countless family dinners filled with laughter and stories. But today that warmth felt overshadowed by the chill of uncertainty. "Hey Maya, how was your day?" Her mother called from the kitchen, stirring something in a pot. "It was good, Mom," she replied, forcing a smile. "I was at the cafe working on an outreach event." Her mother peered around the corner, a flicker of curiosity in her eyes. "That sounds promising. Tell me more." Maya felt her mouth go dry. How could she explain? This event was not just a project. It was a reflection of her worth, her beliefs. But admitting the need for her father's approval felt like exposing a crack on a facade that had held for so long. It's just a networking thing. For local businesses and young people, she said, hoping to downplay it, even as her heart danced with the thrill of their ideas. "What kind of businesses?" Her mother pressed, her interest piqued. Maya hesitated. The usual. "We're trying to highlight inspiring stories." Her mother nodded, seeming satisfied with the vague details, but as she turned back to her work, Maya felt a twinge of disappointment. Couldn't she see how important this was? That it was bigger than just a simple networking event. Feeling the weight of her worries, she retreated to her room, the walls covered in memories of her childhood. Posters of goals and dreams decorated the space where she had envisioned her future a million times. Now she was standing on the precipice of something real, yet her confidence wavered like a candle flickering in the wind as she looked out her window. The sunset cast hues of orange and pink across the sky, a canvas painted with hope. It seemed to whisper to her, "This is your moment." But the fear of failing, of disappointing her dad, anchored her to the ground. What if he thought she was just grasping at straws? What if she put in all this effort and still found him unimpressed, dismissing her ideas as nothing more than naive dreams? She pulled her phone from her pocket, scrolling through her messages, her finger hovering over her father's contact. The man who had shaped so much of her ambition yet remained a point of emotional contention. "Maya." Her mother's voice interrupted her thoughts, pulling her back into the present. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, just thinking." She forced a smile her mother could see. "About?" Maya hesitated, caught in the balance of vulnerability and the need to shield her mother from her doubts. "Just logistics of the event," she settled on, wanting to keep things light. Her mother nodded, a glimmer of concern flickering on her face. You can talk to me about anything, right? I'm here for you." Maya felt a rush of warmth. "I know, Mom. I appreciate it." But she knew this was something she needed to face on her own. That night, as she lay in bed, her mind raced with images of the launch event, the faces she'd meet, the inspiration she'd offer, and most importantly, her father's reaction. As excitement mingled with dread, she couldn't shake the question. Would he show up and support her or brush her off yet again? Just before drifting into a restless sleep, she sat up, heart pounding. She realized something crucial. This venture wasn't just about her. It had the potential to uplift others, to inspire change, even if her dad didn't understand. The decision crystallized in her mind. She would invite him. With a shaky breath, she vowed to herself. She would face this not just for him, but for everyone who needed this opportunity. But just as sleep began to wash over her, a sudden thought jolted her awake. What if he didn't come at all? As that worry spiraled, she recognized a truth she had been avoiding all along. Perhaps this journey was just as much about bridging the gap with her father as it was about building a future for others, with dawn breaking and shadows of doubt threatening to pull her under. Maya knew she stood on the edge of a transformative moment. Would she leap toward her dreams or pull back into safety? What awaited her was still unknown. But with each passing minute, she felt the power of transformation stirring within her. The real question loomed. Would her courage be enough to open the door to newfound connections, both with her community and her father? Maya woke to the soft light filtering through her curtains, a reminder of a new day filled with possibilities. As she stretched and swung her feet to the floor, the weight of her decision sat heavily on her heart. Today was the day she would extend the invitation to her father. Just a phone call, she muttered to herself, trying to muster some bravery. But her stomach twisted at the thought. Would he scoff at her lofty aspirations? Would he view her effort as wasted time? A thump in her chest reminded her of the stakes involved. After breakfast, she helped her mom with the dishes, stealing glances at her phone. The message drafts held her invitation, yet they remained locked in a digital pen. With every clatter of the plates, she felt more conflicted. "Maya, are you sure you're okay?" her mom asked, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "You're awfully quiet." "I'm fine. Just thinking a lot," she replied a little too quickly. The usual rhythm of their morning chatter hung in the air, weighed down by her unexpressed fears. Her mother smiled gently. "Thinking about the event?" Maya nodded, forcing a grin. "Yeah, I just want to make sure everything is perfect." "Just remember," her mom said softly, "it's not about perfection. It's about connection. You have so much to share with these people." Taking a deep breath, Maya stepped into the living room, seeking a moment of solitude. The couch felt like an inviting refuge, a place where she could gather her thoughts. She sank into its cushions, scrolling through her contacts until she found her father's name once again. Just as she was about to type, her phone buzzed with a new message. It was a group chat with her friends, filled with excitement about the upcoming event. They were all counting on her. In that moment, she felt a rush of confidence. If she could inspire them, then she could surely inspire her father too. Swallowing hard, she replied to the chat, flashes of her determination pushing her forward. But even as she tapped away, the nagging fear returned. What if he didn't believe in her? With a surge of determination, she opened her contacts and finally selected her father's name. Holding her breath, she typed out the invitation. It spilled from her heart onto the screen. "Hi Dad. I'd really love for you to come to the outreach event I'm putting together. I think it could mean a lot to both of us. It's on Saturday at the cafe. Let me know if you can make it." Her finger hovered over send. A heavy moment charged with worry and anticipation. A million scenarios flickered through her mind: his indifference, a dismissive reply, or maybe, just maybe, his support. She pressed the button and felt as if she had unleashed a floodgate of emotions. An hour crawled by in agonizing slowness. Maya cleaned nervously, paced around the house, and tried to focus on her work but couldn't shake the feeling that the world had narrowed down to one tiny screen. When her phone finally buzzed again, it took her breath away. She glanced down, heart pounding. A message from her dad. Her heart raced, and she felt goosebumps rise over her skin. "Hey Maya. I got your message. I'll try to come by Saturday." A rush of warmth spread through her. But then doubt crept in. Would he actually show? Or was this just a polite brush-off? Maya sank back onto the couch, heart thumping in her chest. The response left her teetering on a cliff, caught between hope and fear. She felt a surge of courage, knowing she had taken a huge step forward. But as the day wore on, she couldn't shake the feeling that something unexpected awaited her at the event. What if this was more than a simple outreach program? What if, for once, her father's attendance could turn their relationship around in ways she hadn't even imagined? As the sun dipped low in the sky, she realized something profound. This wasn't just a call for him. It was a call for both of them to face the truth, to step into the light together. But would they be ready for the changes that awaited them? Maya woke the next morning with an unfamiliar mix of excitement and dread swirling in her stomach. She had survived the night without any response from her father after the last message. Each hour felt like a weight pressing down on her chest. She blinked away the sleep, trying to push her worries aside. Today was critical. After a hasty breakfast, she rode the bus to school, her mind buzzing with thoughts about the event. Imagining the preparation, every table set and every flower arranged, made her feel a spark of anticipation. Yet, that flickering hope was always followed by a shadow of doubt about her father's commitment. When she arrived, her friends were buzzing about their plans. They asked her if she thought her dad would come. "I hope he does," she said, forcing excitement into her voice even as her heart beat anxiously against her ribcage. Her friends cheered her on, which eased her anxiety a little, but the uncertainty loomed large. First period felt endless. The teacher's voice was just background noise. Maya's thoughts zoomed inward, envisioning what her father would look like if he showed up, if he smiled, if he noticed her passion as she spoke to the audience. More than anything, she wanted to bridge the gap between them. The bell rang, snapping her back to reality. She trudged to the cafeteria for lunch, where the chatter of students faded into indistinct chatter. She pulled out her phone, checking for notifications. Nothing. Just a lump of fear settled in her throat. Everything okay? Good old Caleb had a knack for reading her moods. His concern softened the sharp edges of her worry. Yeah, she replied, forcing a smile. Just thinking. About the event? He asked, biting into an apple. Sort of. It's just I sent an invite to my dad. Her voice wavered, the weight of her admission heavy between them. Now that's big, he replied, eyes wide with sincerity. He's coming, right? She shrugged, deflecting. He said he'd try. Her voice cracked a little, revealing a hint of vulnerability. Caleb nodded knowingly, sensing the deeper implications of her words. Maya, that's all you can do. You've put yourself out there. That takes guts. His encouragement filled her with warmth, even just a spark of bravery. But when the day came to a close, as students filed out into the brightness of the afternoon, Maya felt the tightening knot of uncertainty in her stomach return. Later that evening, she found herself pacing in her room, rehearsing what she would say if he actually came. The potential of their conversation replayed over and over in her mind, each version filled with every possibility: the good, the bad, the ugly, hanging in the air like an unspooled thread, waiting for someone to pull. Just then her phone buzzed again. Heart racing, she snatched it up, hoping. A text from her father. Hey Maya, can I call you? Got something important to discuss. Her breath hitched in her throat. What could this be about? A nervous energy replaced the stillness. This was a moment she hadn't anticipated. A step beyond her invitation. Taking a deep breath, she sat down at her desk, hands trembling over the screen. One part of her wanted to throw caution to the wind, while another part braced for whatever news he might share. What if it was good? What if it was bad? With her heart beating in rhythm with her fears, she responded, "Sure, I'm here." As she waited for the call, she felt the world around her fade. This was it, the moment of truth was about to unfold. Would it pull them together? Or would it tear apart the fragile connection she was desperately trying to build? And as the phone rang, she felt that familiar flutter of hope mixed with apprehension. What would he reveal? Maya grasped her phone tightly, her heart racing as she answered the call. Hey Dad, she said, trying to keep her voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling inside her. Hey Maya. Thanks for taking my call. His voice was calm, yet she could sense an undertone of seriousness. I have been thinking about your outreach event. I want to understand more about it. The relief flooded through her, warming her up, but the nerves quickly followed. It's going to be great, Dad. We're focusing on building connections with local businesses and offering programs to help people in the community. She forced every ounce of excitement into her words, hoping to convey her passion. That's good to hear. A silence stretched out, thick with anticipation. I've been debating about attending. Maya held her breath, feeling as if the world stopped spinning. Really? You'd come? Yeah, I think I should. But I still don't fully understand your plan. I worry you're setting yourself up for disappointment. This world doesn't operate on good intentions alone. His voice softened, but the concern was palpable. Maya clenched her jaw, her defenses rising. I get that you're concerned, but this isn't just about good intentions. We're making a difference. It's real, Dad. Her heart raced, belting out the commitment she felt deep down. We are creating a space where people feel valued, where connections lead to real opportunities. Okay. He sighed deeply. I admire your dedication, but I want you to promise me you'll consider other options for your future. This isn't an easy path. As she listened, Maya felt a swirl of frustration and understanding. Her father wanted the best for her, but his focus on success through wealth and status contrasted sharply with the joy she found in building a community. I'll always consider what's best for me, Dad. But right now this is where my heart is. The conversation shifted like an unsettled wave, uncertain yet hopeful. I can't promise that I will see everything your way. However, he hesitated. I will support you in this. I'll come to the event and see what you're working on. Thank you, Dad, Maya breathed, tears brimming in her eyes. That means the world to me. After hanging up, she felt lighter, freer. It wasn't perfect, but it was a leap toward understanding. As she prepared for the event, the excitement bubbled up alongside her nerves. She spent hours decorating and arranging tables with her friends, envisioning their dreams taking shape right before her. Saturday arrived, sun streaming through the cafe windows, illuminating every corner with hope. As guests trickled in, Maya's heart raced with anticipation. Her community was gathering, each face familiar yet sparkling with the promise of new beginnings. Then she spotted her father. He stepped inside, looking a bit out of place but undeniably present. Their eyes locked. A swirl of emotions passed between them: persistence, hope, and the remnants of uncertainty. "Dad," Maya beamed, rushing over. "I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for inviting me," he said, giving her a tight hug. As the event unfolded, Maya moved around the room, absorbing the energy that radiated from her friends and the residents. Stories flowed like an endless river, and when it was her turn to speak, she felt that familiar thrill of passion ignite inside her. Standing in front of everyone, her voice was steady, empowered. "Welcome to Connections. This is more than just an event. It's a journey we are taking together. Let us open doors for our community and create pathways for those who need them. Together, we will redefine what success means." The audience erupted into applause. Mr. Jenkins' smile radiated warmth, and Ms. Wilson's eyes glistened with joy. As the conversation swirled around her, she took a moment to glance back at her father. He stood there, absorbing. It felt as if she was no longer a tightrope walker attempting to balance their opposing worlds, but rather two different pieces of a quilt starting to form a complete picture. Throughout the evening, with every shared story, Maya felt her heart swell. She caught her father nodding thoughtfully, engaged in conversations with others. There was warmth in the way he listened, a hint of recognition. As the night drew to a close, they gathered in front of the crowd for goodbyes, and she felt her dad's hand on her shoulder, the simple gesture heavy with support. "You did well, Maya. I didn't realize how impactful this could be. Your vision is powerful. Thanks, Dad. Your support means everything." In that moment, the chasm between their worlds shifted imperceptibly closer, leaving space for connection, compassion, and understanding. Stepping into the cool night air, they walked side by side, hearts a little fuller, breaths a little lighter. The future was uncertain, but together, they soared into the horizon with hope illuminating their path. And in that transformation, a new beginning emerged for both Maya and her father, a tapestry woven through love, understanding, and the desire for connection. You need to subscribe now to not miss out on more transformative stories like this. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and bring more inspiring moments to life. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this powerful ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. The community needs you.